Hey guys, welcome back to another round of Rongan's podcast. I'm Dinesh Sagi, joined by Amar and Punk. How are you?
Hello, guys.
Hello
All
guys.
good. All good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Obviously, it's Sunday afternoon, so it's that time of the day when you start to worry about next week.
Yeah,
I think it always
I don't
happens,
like
no matter
either.
you're in school, you're in college, or you become a professional, working and stuff. I think that Sunday evening feeling always remains with you. You don't want that Monday morning when
Not at all.
reality
Yeah.
strikes. Fair enough. On that note, obviously, the we didn't have a chance to connect on the fourth T20 as well. So maybe we'll spend some time reviewing the fourth T20 between India England, and then probably shift our focus onto today's game. So a quick summary on the fourth T20, right? On the scorecard quickly. So India batted first. They scored 181 of 9 overs. A little bit of struggle top of the order, apart from Abhishek Sharma, but then some crucial innings between Rinku Singh, Shivam Dubey, and Hardik Pandya, who actually got us back in the game. From an England standpoint, they were bowled out for 166. Before we go into the scorecard of England and sort of discuss everything else, one of the big news on the day was when India's innings concluded. I would say the penultimate delivery of the last over. Shivam Dubey got hit on the helmet, and then he somehow managed to stay on the pitch for the last delivery, and then post England innings, the concussion happens. In initial thoughts of Harshit Rana replacing Shivam Dubey, is that a like replacement for a concussion shot? I'll probably start with you, Punk.
Okay. See, there are rules, right? So the maximum, when there's a team sheet which is given to the referee, so you have like I think so it's 14 or 15 is given, right?
Yes. Hmm.
So there were two fast bowlers in that team,
Hmm.
right? It was Shami
Yes.
or Harshit Rana, who hasn't played a single. It's a debut for him, right? That was a debut
Yes.
test match. So
Hmm.
either India could have gone with Shami, or they could have taken Harshit Rana. So they took, Harshit Rana. You can't say like to, because you cannot have like left. So technically, if you're looking for a concussion stop, right, then for every player you need to have 22 players. Yeah.
Hmm.
So you cannot exactly do. It's like the best possible candidate, right?
Hmm.
Who can bowl those overs. And Shivam Dubey, suppose he was not an all-rounder and he never bowled for India, and then you
Hmm.
got a Harshit Rana, then it made sense that okay, he's not the So, but the problem is you had Harshit Rana on your team sheet,
Hmm.
and he was the only bowler who could bowl, pace bowling, which Shivam. If Shivam Dubey was a spinner, then you would have got a spinner, somebody like Sundar or somebody used. They would have got him, but
Hmm.
the only option is that he might be 10K is fast, but if they would have got Shami, then it made sense.
Hmm.
But the rule is a rule, right? Can't do much. You can't bring somebody from outside who's not in the top, in the 15 sheet, right, and get somebody to bowl. So I think so, based on the rules. Previously it was also like, Jadeja is a left arm spinner.
Hmm.
There was a concussion with him, and then you had Chahal
Charles.
coming in. Chahal is a leg
Yeah.
spinner, but a spinner to spinner, right? They didn't get a
Mhm.
fast bowler. So it's basically within the rules that was the only option. So I don't see, I know that because Harshit took that 2-3 wickets and England lost, and England's are crybabies, that as well, right? So
Mhm.
they do, with Michael Vaughan and, the bandwagon behind him.
Mhm.
Whenever there's something, they will come up with, so they don't lose, like, I don't know what's the problem with them. The
Mhm.
rule is a rule. Even like, just to, I know a little bit out of topic, but Ashwin getting him, Joss Butler out in IPL, and you see the entire, spirit of the game and all the bullshit. It was a rule,
Mhm.
play according to rule, and fair rule, right? So I think it's all nonsense. Based
Mhm.
on the match referee thing, it was a correct decision taken.
Fair enough. Amar, your take on it?
I think it was wrong of India to take Harshit Rana as a like to like, because he was not like to like replacement at all. He's a fast bowler, lot faster than
Mhm.
Dubey, but
Dubé.
that's not
Yeah.
the reason I'm saying. The reason is he's not a similar kind of batsman. He doesn't have that quality of batsmanship as Shivam Dubey. Also, because Ramandeep was there in the team, in the squad,
Mhm.
so they could have picked him rather than. I mean, Shami is not a like-to-like replacement to Dubey at all, and Rana is a frontline bowler. Is
Mhm.
not of same quality of batsman. So even though if he would have not taken 3 wickets, even though it was wrong of him to play.
Mhm. Yeah, no. So that's the funny part, right? So one of the pieces I was struggling to understand as well. Can you pick a player who is not part of the 15 but still part of the squad as a likely like to like a concussion sub? Is that where Ramandeep wasn't part of the list, so that's why they had to go with Rashid Rana? Is one question. Sorry, Pankia.
What,
No,
Raman was not part of
you
the
cannot.
15?
I think so. You cannot pick up. But the thing is, see, it's the match referee's decision, right? And based on the rules, uh, Harshit Rana was the better fit. And just to add you, it's not about Harshit Rana's batting or this thing. Chahal cannot bat like Jadeja, yeah. But
Hmm.
Chahal came as a spinner, so it's not related to his batting. It's about, so in the second half of the game, what
Hmm.
is the role of that particular person who has got who's getting substituted? So
Hmm.
can he bowl pace? Whether his speed is like 150 or 100, it's just the space. They look at the team sheet, who is
Yeah.
the most likely replacement of that person. So it's not
Hmm.
regarding whether the person can bat or not, because it is the role which is going to happen in the second half of the game. So I gave an example of Jadeja when Chahal
Yeah.
came in.
Hmm.
Chahal cannot bat like Jadeja, right? But it was a spinner's role, a spinner to spinner, whether he's bowling leg break, or because you cannot have, like as I told you, right, you cannot have, each player
Hmm.
cannot have exact opposite of. So it's the most likely, and based on the rules, the match referee was fine. He just took the 3 wickets and England lost, and that's why the hue and cry. It'll happen. So I don't see we should devolve into that, right? And
No,
frankly
absolutely right.
speaking,
And
and Dubai just showed,
Yeah, I mean, in
okay,
the match,
it's a
that
joke
was
of points.
it was said that it was the role you play. But the thing is, Shivam Dube never bowled 4 overs before, and he was not likely to bowl 4 overs. Well,
Mhm.
Harshit Rana, because he is a frontline bowler, he bowled 4 overs, and
Mhm.
regardless of taking those wickets or not, but he is a
Yeah.
much better fast bowler than Shivam Dube is, and he was, whenever he played, whenever Harshit Rana would play, he would bowl 4 overs.
Yeah.
So the rules are rules, but they were. I mean, India were right to put his name,
Mhm.
Harshit Rana's name. It was match referee who should have
Yeah.
objected to it. I mean, there was no fault of India there. It was the fault of match referee. Any team is very much liable to put anyone's name there. So that's not India's fault. It was match referee who should have objected to it. So
Yeah.
I don't think Dube would have ever bowled 4 overs. Even
Mhm.
today, I mean, it looked like that he was given those overs to just prove himself, that the or the decision of Harshit Rana to prove that right, they did
Mhm.
that. But I don't suppose why. I mean, in any team, if
Mhm.
you pick 2 teams, would you ever replace Shivam Dube with Harshit Rana in any team? That's the question. If you don't, then he's not the right like replacement.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And the point I made earlier about the 15, right? Yes, he's part of the squad. So, even if it's not on the sheet that was exchanged before the game, I think because Amandeep is part of the squad, he could have been
Mhm.
considered. But like you rightly said, Amar, obviously India put a name forward. It's for the referee to obviously decide. So maybe this needs to go back to ICC and maybe Jay Shah or someone to try and reflect on what's going
Yeah,
on.
maybe the technical point is maybe he was not in the 15, so
Yeah, yeah.
that way you can say that okay, he cannot be picked. But if that is
Mhm.
the rule, but
That's
other
the
than
rule, I
that,
think.
there's no. Okay, so that's the rule. Then that's fine. But
That's my understanding too. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, so it's not like to like. But who was the best available replacement? That's what India went with, Harshit Rana. Maybe that's why Javagal Srinath. That's why he approved it.
Yeah, absolutely right. Before spending too much time on it, another piece I was just wondering if Rana considered 40 or 50 of the 4 overs. I'm not sure if England would have made the same statement or even mentioned
No,
about
not
it,
at
but
all. Not at
it's
all.
it's what it is, right? So anyway, shifting focus to the batting, right? 181 for 9. Obviously, Samson. I think Akash Chopra's homework's really paying off. Again, he fell for like 1 in 3 deliveries. Abhishek Sharma, again, 150 strike rate, he scored 29 of 19. Then Tilak Varma, Sky fell really early, and then there was a good partnership between Rinku Singh and Shivan Dubey. So before looking into the middle order partnership, right? A quick word on Sky, especially. Sky's really having a torrid time, in the T20 so far.
No, he's not having a good time at all, and he has to think about it. And he keeps getting out the same way, which is really
Mm-hmm.
worrying. I mean, we have been talking about Virat Kohli here. He has been nicking the ball outside off stump
Mm-hmm.
regularly, and everyone is scratching their head that
Mm-hmm.
why he is not able to avoid that.
Yeah.
If he totally avoids that shot, maybe probably
Mm-hmm.
there will be a position where he will maybe play longer.
Mm-hmm.
And for with Sky is the same thing happening, and
Mm-hmm.
also opponent bowlers are noticing that. And
Yeah.
but what's more worrying is that is his go-to shot, and
Mm-hmm.
he is falling for those shots. And so he has to do something, maybe like we were advising or suggesting Virat Kohli that don't play, like Sachin, don't play any cover drives or anything like that. So maybe he has to put this shot of his in the cupboard for some time, just couple of innings maybe, as long
Yeah.
as he's or not even innings, I would say, play 10 balls and maybe play a shot after that.
Yeah.
When his eye is set up, his hand-eye coordination is going really well, then maybe do it. You can talk about different things like maybe a sticky pitch, ball is holding up a little bit, maybe swinging uh, a ball. There can be a number of things, but if things
Mm-hmm.
are happening that way, just maybe avoid playing those shots early on. When
Yeah.
you have made like 20 runs, then you can easily play those shots. So maybe that's what he needs to do, but he has to do something about it. We have World Cup next year. We are
Mm-hmm.
looking at him as India captain,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we can't go into the World Cup with a captain who hasn't made runs. I mean, he's doing really well as a captain,
Mm-hmm.
making very good decisions, really good bowling changes. But
Mm-hmm.
if he's himself is not making runs, then he will be shot in confidence. We don't want that to happen. So yeah, looking forward to what he does, how he brings back his form.
Absolutely right. So, Rinku Singh and Shivan Dubey, that's an important partnership to develop, right? And Punk Dubey, I know you're a big fan, obviously from his CSK days, and obviously continues to score runs in the middle order. And I know the third T20 when it comes, he made a really big point about how important Dubey is on Indian pitches. And obviously, he delivered on the first opportunity. He was presented like 53 of 34 deliveries, 7 4s and 2 6s.
So just to add, I want to bring a point with Amar raised here
Mm-hmm.
on the third T20 regarding Adil Rashid, and
Mm-hmm.
I told that you
Mm-hmm.
need somebody who can head spin. See the runs he scored against Adil Rashid. Yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
India lost. India would have won the third, T20 if we had somebody who could hit spin, maybe a Rajat Patidar and Dubain. This is the conversation, right?
Sure.
And from there, Adil Rashid has been hitting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just last two games, fourth and T. So the thing is, and that's why he does not get picked in IPL. He's a good bowler, but he's not a great
Mm-hmm.
bowler, right? So just to give
Sure.
you that view, and
Mm-hmm.
Dubey took him, on. Uh, in Indian pitches, right? See, the thing is, the ball, even like this ODI, right? The last T20 as well, like the fifth one, and before that, if you see even the bouncers, they don't,
Mm-hmm.
they don't like skid like in Indian pitches. So for Dubey playing in Indian pitches, he can smack even the fast bowlers,
Yeah.
right? Maybe in Australia and England, where it's slightly difficult, the bounce and all that, right? So it would have been difficult. So in Indian pitches, he is your go-to man when it comes to, you know, against spin bowling and even against fast. He's got a tall, he's quite tall, has lifted for quite a, any ball. He doesn't need to come out from pitch. He can just stand and deliver. So short
Yeah.
ball will go for six, so he doesn't need foot movement basically, and that's what you need, and you see that was the change actually. Just to give a stat as well, right, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
what happened, the way India lost those wickets right early on,
Mhm.
India would have struggled to get 100 and 20 or 130
Yeah.
roundabout.
Mhm.
That's I'm talking about the stats of entire T20 before this.
Mhm.
But the approach which India has started, and good to Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid, they started this,
Mhm.
going on bang on, and that if you see, the team score was quite good. The run rate was always around the 7.5, 8. You just need one innings and two innings maybe, and then you got to 180. Or India would have struggled at 130 to 140, 150. They would have gone all out. And
Yeah.
this is what makes sense in T20. You don't need the number of wickets. You lose 9 wickets, but if it's still on 180, 190, and England showed us on the third T20 as well. They were around 170 plus with losing all those 8, 9 wickets. So you're still on par scores,
Mhm.
and then you have an opportunity in the game. So this is something which you need people within middle orders to hit those spinners and take them out of the park. And kudos to the team management to bring in Dubey, and if the other, like Rajat Patidar is somebody they should look as
Mhm.
well. Uh, it's not that, like, the T20 2026 has been fixed yet, the team. So if you
Yeah.
get one or two guys who can hit those spinners
Mhm.
across, then your middle order, and that's why India has been losing, because the middle order has not been fighting against spinners. They have been like will hammer in the last 5 overs,
Yeah.
and you don't get those runs. So the middle
Mhm.
overs from 7 to the 14, 15, that is
Mhm.
the where you need that big power hitters. And yeah, good on the team management to bring in Dubey, and he showed us what he can do. So
Absolutely. Also, obviously, no, we can't forget Hardik Pandya. 53 of 30 deliveries, four fours, four
absolutely
sixes.
brilliant.
He just took off, right?
Yeah, and
I
the
think
good
the
thing
difference
is,
for that 180 versus 160 maybe.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, both of them. And the thing is,
Mhm.
and you see Hardik, what he do is very clever. When
Mhm.
Adil Rashid was bowling, right, he just took, and then Dubey went full on, and
Mhm.
then in the last two balls of the fourth over, you saw, like, he just like dropped dead. He didn't want to take Adil on, and then he
Mhm.
comes across, and then Dubey gives him the chance to hit those fast bowlers. So there was a good coordination between both of them. That really helps in a partnership to know what weaknesses you have against which bowlers, and which bowlers you can hit. So that
Mhm.
shows, you just can't go like, oh, the other person is hitting spinners, I can go and hit as well, right?
Sure.
So that was very good on Hardik, and on Dubey too. That partnership really helped to take us to that 180 score.
No, absolutely right. And also, mention about Saki Mohammed as well. And he kind of replaced, Mark Wood in that, 40-20. And he was the reason, that many collapse started the innings, right? He managed to pick 3 wickets for 35. So maybe a quick word on Saki Mohammed. Amar?
Yeah, I mean, we have been talking about replacing either Wood or Jofra. And England rightly so brought Saqib Mahmood, and the wickets he took in his first over, 3 wickets for 0 runs. That proved the fact that there was some kind of variation needed. Maybe just about he could have maybe he didn't bowl change up deliveries up front, but what it did was there was a change in the phase, the way he bowled. Would bowl in a different way, and slight change in the pace as well. And Indian batsmen were kind of they saw a change, so they kind of played him differently and fell to him. Maybe they were expecting some other kind of deliveries, and they kind of thought, okay, we'll go up front, we'll charge him. But because he was a new bowler, he hadn't played before in the series, so maybe Indian batsmen thought we will charge him up front, and they fell to his bowling. So yeah, I mean, the change was needed, and that change brought about these wickets. So he can be a good prospect in the future, but
Yeah.
he looked good. He looked good. I mean, so yeah, it was a positive sign for England and going forward as well.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and obviously, 180 is still like chaseable on that pitch, and then obviously, England really started well. Obviously, in the struggles with Phil Salt, he did manage to score, some runs. He's got 23 of 21 deliveries, and Ben Duckett 39 of 19. That was a really good start for the England innings. But obviously, a couple of quick wickets, and then Harry Brooks scored 51 of 26. Someone who's really been struggling. Apart from that, there's no big contributions. So maybe a quick word on Saul's approach, and obviously Harry Brooks, Amar.
Salt, we have been wanting him to score, and we did see in the fourth T20 that he made what 23 runs, I guess. So he was kind of starting to make runs, and up front, any time up front for any team, if you make runs, then it helps the team quite a lot, and his runs as well. And then Ben Duckett also stuck in, and he couldn't reach his half century, but he made uh, those runs. I guess 39 runs, and that gave England a really good start. Of course, 181 uh, is a chaseable target, you can say, but with the Indian bowlers, with those mystery spinners and and a good pace bowlers, and also change up bowlers as well. I mean, it was always a fighting total. So it was important for them to come good, and they did, the openers. And then later on, Harry Brook, he scored 50 of 26. So it was very much in England's back. But then, of course, later on, they couldn't make any runs. They couldn't hold on to the run rates as well. So, but yeah, it was promising to see a good start up front.
Yeah, absolutely right. And then when Harry Brook was going, he scored 51 of 26, and he managed to play off Varun Chakravarti well for the change. Unfortunately, still fell for him with that silly shot in the short fine leg. But while he was playing, there was still some hope for England. Punk.
You're talking about, sorry.
Harry Brook, his
Yeah.
51 of 26.
So, yeah, so he'll come good. It's just that I was for he has a problem with spin bowling, especially with spinners like mystery spinners or leg breaks. I have a feeling he's not able to pick the bowlers from the hand. And the other thing is maybe he needs a little bit of technical change when it comes to bowling against spin, right? So he's more of front foot player, and that is not going to help him, especially with mystery spinners if he's not able to pick them from the hand, right? Apart from that, out of 5 innings or 4 innings, right? There was definitely a good player will come back, and he played really well. But especially with 2026 happening in India, they will get against Brook. They will try to get especially leg break spinners, right? They will try to bowl away from him. It's going to be a challenge for him, if and Googly as well. So if he's not able to pick, it is going to be a challenge for him. So that's something which I see as a weakness from this series. In Pakistan, and where he scored, across England, Australia, the ball does not spin, it does not grip as well. In India, it grips, so that's another thing. So it's not going to be an easy task for him, especially playing in India. I think he played Test series as well in India, right? He did not. Did he play any Test series in India? He did not perform, because he's not like a Root or something. You see how Root plays against spin. He goes back and so it's going to be a challenge. So something which I don't know how they're going to manage it, but he needs to see how he's going to. Especially with those bowlers. So, but apart from that, the fourth, that was 1 innings which he was there roundabout. But
and what I saw was Bryden Cars. That was a turning point as well. I mean, I was absolutely shocked to see him. First ball, I think he charged out, or first and second ball again he
second delivery.
He played that.
He was mid wicket, and he was caught in the deep
mid. That was a strange shot. So that I think that changed England's momentum really.
Yeah, that particular over where Varun got both wickets, right? Obviously, from a bowling standpoint, Bishna, who really struggled in the previous 3 games, he's come back strong, 3 for 28 of his 4 overs. and then the special concussion sub. He's managed 3 of 33, which made the difference towards the end. Maybe a quick word on Bishnoi, Amar.
Yeah, we have been, initially. I mean, the series before this, he did perform well, and that's why he was picked up in this one. And he looked, initially, he looked a bit. Um, I wouldn't say out of touch, but there could have been better options from him. Like Punk mentioned as well, like the outgoing deliveries, the leg breaks. Most of his balls are like googlies going in or straight up. So he was, he needed to be a little bit better. And is this in this game he was, he picked. Quick wickets, and I think in the future as well he could be a good option, but he has to bring in those variations to him. But yeah, he's a good option.
Like I have my reservations actually against Vishnoi, right?
Mhm.
He was but uh, lucky,
Okay.
frankly speaking. They would have smashed him a lot with those
Mhm.
googlies, right? And he tends to bowl a bit short as well, tries to
Mhm.
bowl a bit fast, and then the loopy ones come straight. When like say Adil Rashid or any other like spinner like Chahal as well, right? The ball would turn if you do loopy ones, right? So you when the batsman tries to hit, it'll go on mid off around that. So until unless he does not turn the ball like on the loopy ones, if they just go straight, it's going to be a challenge. I'm just talking on. I'm looking at the 2026 World Cup. Based on that, what I see, he's going to get smashed a lot. He might take few wickets here and there, but
Mhm.
like I don't see him like controlling runs at all. It'll be like 46 or 40 runs, maybe 2 wickets, something, or 44, 45 runs. And spinners, you need to take those wickets, also control your runs in, because at the first 5 overs and the last 5 overs, your pacers are going to get hit. You take 2 wickets, and most of the teams are going to bat till 8. So wickets are not that important. It's also about containing runs as well. So if you're
Mhm.
going to go and give around 40 runs, or 35, 40 runs, and take 1 or 2 wickets, you're not denting that much in terms of the score. So that
Sure.
is something which you have to control your runs as well. That's why like a Chakrabarti or Kuldeep or Chahal, they were really good. They used to take wickets but not give that, around about the 20, 25, maybe 28 runs were on average they used to give. So Vishnoi is
Yeah.
going to be a challenge if it does not do leg break, especially in India. Googly, they'll sit back, they'll smash over, and the Indian fields are not big. They're all like 65
Mhm.
meters maximum on an average here.
Mhm.
There's no 70 meters ground anyways. 65
Mhm.
meters, sitting on a back, and he bowls a bit. Googly comes a bit, it does not come slow as well. It comes around the
Mhm.
80, 90, 95 speed. You just sit back. It's coming like an in-swing bowler, just sit back, and all the sixes you see, Livingston, everybody
Mhm.
hitting. Harry Book, I'm telling you, that he has a challenge, because like once he picks the ball from the hand, he would have smashed him there as well. So, and his straight balls, you see, which some of the guys who hit him, they're just hitting him straight because the ball was not turning around. I'm
Mhm.
talking about the leg break, So the
Yeah.
leg break does not turn generally for
Mhm.
a leg spinner, right? The leg break will turn more than a googly, and that does not do at all. It just comes straight, and they just sit straight. And so even if you're like as a batsman, like Amar can explain that, when
Mhm.
you know the bowler is either going to come with here, or all the balls, you're just sitting back. You can, even if you swing your bat, you'll go straight or you'll go this way. So you
Yeah.
are more or less. But if that ball turns, then
Mhm.
you get those catches. So I'm worried about Ravi Bishnoi. He might have taken some wickets here and there,
Mhm.
but it's going to be a challenge for him. I don't see him actually in the T20 squad
Yeah,
for
one thing
2026.
also is that for these days to be in the T20 squad, you need to have batting skills as well,
Yeah.
which Bishnoi, in the previous game he did score two boundaries and won the match kind of, but that's about it. I mean, he'll go whenever big score is needed. I don't think he's the guy that will give you quite a lot of confidence, when the batting is needed.
Absolutely, yeah, sort of makes sense, and obviously, I think that's where I know he's done exceptionally well with like his franchises in IPL. That's probably the reason he was picked, but he seems to be struggling. But yeah, let's see how he develops over the next year or so. Come the 2026 T20 World Cup, right? But quickly shifting focus, it obviously the series has been concluded after the fourth T20. India like 3-1 up, they won the series, and then the fifth one is in Mumbai today. Obviously, even though the series is done and dusted, obviously it's important for both sides to kind of finish on top. So there was still a lot to play for in today's T20. India obviously batting first, 247 for 9 of their 20 overs. Abhishek Sharma, what stroke play? He managed to score 135 of 54 deliveries, 7 fours, and 13 sixes. It's the highest, like in a six getter for India in a T20 international. I It's what I've read. 13 sixes. I don't think anyone scored that many. Obviously, some good contributions by Tilak Varma in the partnership, and then Shivam Dubey joined him in the middle order. Another 30 from 13, and then Akshar Patel 15. But yeah, I think it all sums up like Abhishek Sharma held one end. So maybe yeah, quick word on Abhishek Sharma. Punk.
Well, I told you, right? He for Indian pitches, I'm just talking about. He has to be there. He
Mm-hmm.
has to be there. See ball, hit ball, right? The ball's not swinging. He is just going to see it. No leg movement. He's like a Sehwag, If he's
Mm-hmm.
like hits. He's a left-handed Sehwag, right? Just like, and his swing, like what Sehwag used to have, right? It's just from here swings it, and he goes a full throttle. Just
Mm-hmm.
to give a quick thing, which out of the 37 balls when he scored that 100 odd runs,
Yeah.
there was only one false shot,
Mm-hmm.
right? 90%. So if you see, if you percentage wise, just one foul shot, 37 is like 36 balls were all like middle of the bat, So that's
Mm-hmm.
great, to see from a ball. And the good thing is, I think that one foul shot was when he tried to step out against a spin or something.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give you a view of that guy standing there and hitting those sixes.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm saying, like, people who actually take the momentum out to hit spinners and hit sixes, they're more likely to go out, because you have leg breaks and, like,
Mm-hmm.
spinners who can bowl googlies and all that. But if you can stand on the pitch and hit those long sixes, then for a spinner, it becomes much more challenging, because then you cannot, with the guile and the drift and other things, it's going to be a bit of a challenge for those spinners. So
Mm-hmm.
India has got one of a very good batsmen who can hit standing in the pitch and hit those long sixes. So this is going to be, I see him actually coming in for 2026. If I'm just thinking, he and Jaiswal opening for India,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be like one of the most deadliest combination ever
Mm-hmm.
in history of India opening. Two deadly combination who can just stand and deliver. To spinners and fast bowlers, like they just crash. So it's going to be a blockbuster opening. To see two left-handers and young guys, and they're not like they're all like 20, 22, 23, around about that age.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And brilliant, and like what Yuvraj Singh, and like I know he's a prodigy of this thing. He's got the
Mm-hmm.
same swing. He's really lethal. The good thing
Yeah.
is, like, and something which you just want to pick up from Amar's word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other batsmen take 5 balls to be there. He's already
Mm-hmm.
there in the ball one,
Yeah.
right? And that helps. So even if he
Mm-hmm.
scored like 20, 30 odd runs, if he scores in like 7 to 8 balls, you give him the start. And in
Yeah.
T20, you don't need 50, which India was always like, I want to get a 50 or something. No, you need 30 runs. If you can get 30 runs in like 10, 12 balls, you are there. That means your score is going to be 118, 200 plus, and you are there about to win the game. So every time he gives that 20, 30 run start, if you can give it win that 7 to 8 balls, maybe 10 balls, 30 runs, and then you don't know, you're done. Your job as an opener is done. And then you have middle order guys to come and smack around. So you give him a
Yeah.
good start, and I love this guy. Like clean in India, he's going to be very dangerous. That's it. No more words. Was the most dangerous batsman for Indian pitches.
Absolutely. About anything you would like to add before you start, right? So one of the stats that I picked up, on Insta, right? So he scored all his runs in the front of the wicket. He hasn't scored anything behind the wicket, especially on the leg side. Is like literally nothing. Everything
No
in front
reverse
of the
swings.
wicket. and then there's only a couple of shots that are obviously over the square towards point, but if not, everything's like in front of the wicket. And literally, out of like the 37 deliveries, I think 34 of them were literally in the air. So there's no ground shots either. Is what they picked up in the wagon wheel. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. Looking at
Mhm.
the pace attack England had, also because of the lines they were bowling. But
Mhm.
if you think about if you're facing Jofra Archer, you never think of hitting down the ground or straight over the head. It's always
Yeah.
going to be behind the wicket, either sides. But
Hmm.
yeah, and I don't think anyone else needed to bat today in India because England didn't even get to his score.
Yes.
So he kind of you could say that
They lost behind Abhishek
yeah
Sharma.
they couldn't get over Abhishek Sharma even. And also, I mean, just if you just look at his sixes and fours,
Hmm.
if you count, um, I was thinking that he scored those 97 runs, which if England had batted those 97 runs, he would have gotten just 17 points something balls and just under 3 overs. That's
Yes.
what he took to he would have taken to score 97 runs. So that's
Hmm.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And same as when Punk was talking about the way he bats, very clean shots, and like you mentioned, they were mostly in the air, but those in the air shots were clean hits, and there's no confusion in his mind what he's going to do. And one of the most important aspects of his batting, it looks like
Hmm.
that he reads the bowlers really well, and he anticipates them really well. That's why even a bowler like Jofra Archer or Wood in the past, um, we have seen, and in this game as well. I mean, quite he is quite good at anticipating which ball they are going to bowl or what they're trying to do. So he's a very good reader of the of the bowlers as well, and the tactics. So he's already ready for those shots. I mean, um, and he just stands and deliver, and he is really good in getting into those positions, and his footwork, if you see, obviously because he's playing in the air and he had to hit sixes, he's not his front foot is not very large. He can stand, have a good balance, and then hit you over your head. But also, one of the most important aspects of a good batsman, his bat is straight most of the times, and also his whenever he slices in a such a way that it doesn't come down straight away. He works with the pace of the bowler, and then he slices the ball and it flies into the 10th row. So amazing hitting ability, but also a very good judger of what a bowler is trying to do, and he picks those balls to play in those areas. And very very rarely you will see that he plays any cross shots. All
Hmm.
of his are straight bats, and also of course it helps with a high back lift, that it goes, it helps if you swing it straight. So very intelligent. Also, he doesn't lose any shape. He doesn't he doesn't lose any game awareness as well. Like, you will
Hmm.
not see him playing a shot which he shouldn't be playing. I mean, of course, when your form is good, it looks like that every shot you're playing really good. But
Hmm.
and also it helps with the freedom he has been given up the order. Even
Yes.
if, like Punk says, even if you're making like 29 runs, 30 runs out of 7 balls, that helps the team massively. So I mean, the other day we were talking about who's going to be the probable 2026 team members. I think we have found one more here.
Hmm.
And of course, we will be looking at Tilak Verma as well, but that's
Hmm.
one. I would also like to quickly mention Shivam Dube as well.
Hmm.
In the previous match, we talked about what he did. Punk wanted him, and he's in the team. He delivered. Um, I've seen a change in what Indian fans must have noticed as well, that when the middle overs comes, and all of a sudden there is that fear or that nervousness has gone away, because a Shivam Dube is there. even if the
Yeah.
spinners come, and he walks in, and there is a new excitement in the
Hmm.
stadium, in the fans' minds as well. So that's what
Hmm.
Shivam Dube has done. That there's a excitement in the air for the middle overs.
Hmm.
And whenever the spinners comes, and we know back of the mind that Shivam Dube is there, and we will get runs, and
Hmm.
some sixes are going to come definitely. There's this shift in that, in the environment, so that's really good. So maybe Shivam Dube, one of the other players who can make it to 2026 score, team line.
Yeah, yeah, and
Absolutely.
just to add to Amar's point as well, right? So
Mhm.
Dubai has nothing to lose, because he's a World Cup winner technically, right? He's
Hmm.
on like so, and like he was not picked up, for whatever reason, right? And they bought him because of what happened in the first three
Hmm.
20, and he showed that you need somebody to do that. The other thing is, which I noticed today, right? The
Hmm.
captains fear putting a spinner against him. So what happens is, like, when the other batsmen, they get an opportunity to hit those fast bowlers. So this is like, it's a matchup as well, you see,
Yeah.
and which
Hmm.
Hardik really exploited that. And
Yeah.
Dube and Rinku, if you see, Rinku also exploited that when Dube was there, right? Like,
Hmm.
you see, this is something which the team can exploit, that if there is a leg spinner on the other side, left arm, or leg spinner, whatever, right? They can just take that single and let the guys who can hit those spinners go across. So
Hmm.
it's a something which the opposition captain will always fear, to deploy spinners if you have those Rajat Patidars and Dubes, in between playing. So I would like to see a Rajat as well. That guy is crazy, man, when it comes to hitting, especially for the Indian pitches, right? The You just have to look at horses or courses. If you don't do that, you are going to lose.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Abhishek Sharma, right? All credit to what is done, and obviously, the point you made about Amar about the high back lift, reminds us of obviously, Yuvraj, how he used to approach, and his high back lift, how clean it is to look when he's like taking on those fast bowlers, and you obviously see the signs of Abhishek, of Yuvraj and Abhishek, and kudos to him, an excellent innings, and obviously, second fastest T20 100 for India, just behind Samson. Samson done it in 30, and he's done it in 37, and also the second fastest T20 50 behind Yuvraj Singh. So not a bad company to be part of.
Not at all.
Quickly. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, maybe not at all. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys who comes in. I was actually thinking. I mean, this is too early to say, but
Mhm.
if he's nurtured well, we could have a similar kind of a cricket character as Bumrah, even you can say, in a T20
Sure.
sense. That
Mhm.
because Bumrah is an exceptional talent,
Mhm.
once in a generation player. This guy can be once in a generation player if he is nurtured well, and he himself takes care of his mindset. I mean, at the
Mhm.
moment it looks like he can, but
Mhm.
future will only tell. But he has the potential.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of credit
Uh,
also goes to, I
and
think, it's IPL
just not
franchise,
only
and
the batting side as well, right, Dinesh? So
Mhm.
it's also about the bowling, and which I was
Yeah.
talking about. Like, they need to give Abhishek that opportunity. And like, he was a bit lucky to get that first wicket, because it
Mhm.
was a short ball. But then when he got the confidence, you could see that the balls was like, he was spinning the ball, the loop was there, the line length came. The next five
Mhm.
balls was brilliant. So
Yeah.
just like, if he gets more opportunity, like, especially when India is in a very good position to win, they need to give him an opportunity to bowl as much,
Mhm.
because he can turn out to be a very good all-rounder as well, right? At least, batting all-rounder. So that will
Mhm.
help India, just pitch that 1 or 2 overs, right? Then you will
Yeah.
have like 7, 8 bowlers within the team, you know so or you that helps as well, like, so.
Absolutely right. So obviously, quickly shifting focus onto England, right? 248 is a massive target, and obviously, but again, also same time, like the pitch is there, and obviously England has the batting to sort of get closer. But unfortunately, apart from Phil Salt, who scored 55 of 23 deliveries, no notable partnerships or any scores from any of the batsmen. Obviously, they bundled out for 97. Salt, good to see him obviously bouncing back. Last game, obviously, he scored slow, but obviously spent some time at the crease, and looks like that paid off on today's innings.
He batted really well, and when
Mhm,
he was batting and everyone around him, it looked
mhm,
like that he, well, everyone around him were not in the zone. He was in the zone, and
mhm,
it looked like he was playing on a totally different pitch than his teammates. Of
mhm.
course, he was playing on the same pitch as Abhishek Sharma, because
Abhijit Sharma.
he was also playing, good shots which were coming off. But
Mhm,
there was no support really, and who knows if he would have got another support, another batsman who would have supported him, he would have
mhm.
even gone longer. He scored a
Yeah.
very good half century,
Mhm.
but it was a long time coming. I mean, last match, like we talked about, he scored 29, I think, and
Yeah.
this was kind of falling up from there. So he
Yeah.
had that mindset, but others had already given up. It looked like, then it looked like they're never going to make those runs. I mean, of course, the runs were too much. They had to go on hitting,
Mhm.
but then I mean, you have to have some kind of uh,
Partnership going maybe.
partnership going, or a calm head. Maybe they could have gone closer a little bit, but
Yeah.
they played like all or nothing
Lost
kind of,
cause.
but also,
Yeah.
yeah, lost cause, to be honest, lost cause, exactly, that's the word really.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, really bad performance, batting performance. I mean, not 97. It doesn't have to have like a 247, saying that there's a massive score, but you're not, with that batting lineup, 97 is a really really bad score really. You're not expecting England to do that. They could have at least scored 150 even. That could have been like uh, something to talk about, but 97 is really bad.
Absolutely right. And obviously India's bowling right. Good to see Shami picked a few wickets. Obviously he's got 3 for 25 out of his 2.3 overs. Chakravarti in a leading wicket taker. He's got 2 for 25, and then good contributions from Shivam Dubey 2 for 11. So that sums up his concussions are chat. He's a really good bowler, a damn good bowler compared to Ashit Rana, and then Abhishek Sharma to Punk's point. He's got 2 wickets again. He bowled one over and he managed to pick 2 wickets. But yeah, most importantly, good to see Shami getting more overs, and obviously he
Yeah.
contributed with the ball.
So yeah, it's Shami, right? I was just looking at his, like whether the ball is swinging, and in he was able to seam today, so
Hmm.
that helped as well. And like when you get this 1 or 2 games after you come back after 14, 15 months, right? It takes
Hmm.
time, and like if you see, like with each game he's improved, right? I'm looking forward to see him in the ODIs, because that's where he'll get that 8 to 10 overs,
Hmm.
and that will really show, like how good Shami's fitness is, because that also is and like his line and length is perfect, the seam is coming, and the ball is like just seaming enough both
Hmm.
ways, which is good. um the like Apart from Shami, right, the other thing was Chakravarti, right? So as I told you, right, he's improved
Hmm.
drastically, is improved series by series, right?
Yeah.
And just want to add something, which the best thing which I've seen in this series was Chakravarti fielding in, on long on, and outfield, which
Hmm.
actually he went to Surya and he told that I want to field in the outfield, which
Hmm.
shows there was a lot of criticism, and we've told, right, with having like say Kuldeep and him, you'll have those weaknesses in in fielding.
The field.
So
Yeah.
he took some really good catches, and some balls which come really flying towards long on. It's
Hmm.
not easy, and he took really good catches across both the sides, and those
Yeah.
balls were not, the catches were not difficult. So that's something which I see, that this he's 33 or something, and like he's actually improved. Apart from
Hmm.
bowling, the fielding aspect of that person, and to go to your captain and say, I want to field in the outfield, and
Hmm.
this is not like India was in the winning position when I'm talking about the first this thing,
Yeah.
and then goes and takes that catches, like brilliant. So I really, and that was, I think so, Harry Brooks catch, so critical wicket, against Ravi Vishnoy. So that is something which I see this Indian team, and from Varun, and I
Hmm.
see that a lot of people within the team would be trying to pick up the weaknesses, and try to get that over as well. So good to see that. Apart from that, the bowling was good. the way first ball he takes the wicket,
Yeah.
and Phil Salt, if you see, just to give you a view, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the second over when Hardik was bowling, most of the balls were on the off stump, slow balls, and just roundabout, and Phil Salt was struggling to hit those balls.
Mm-hmm.
The one ball which he hit against Hardik was right, and the like, so something which Salt, which India picked up. Dubey comes
Finish
in, he
hard.
gives that ball just outside off, like
Yeah.
on the thing, and he tries to swing, and he gets catches. So
Mm-hmm.
that was good, and I'm just told about Abhishek, right? I would love to see him bowl more.
Mm-hmm.
We need somebody like him. So if there's a spinner less, if he can,
Mm-hmm.
even if he can contribute 1 or 2 overs, and give like even 20 runs, right?
Yeah.
And maybe take a wicket, or even 2 overs for 20 runs in between, then
Mm-hmm.
your job is done.
Yeah.
Because then you have the fast bowlers coming. So I think so. Like India's got really good. Tilak was somebody they should have given as well. Some like
Mm-hmm.
he is another bowler as well. So that helps. But
Yeah.
overall, India perfect. A brilliant performance with the bat, and with the field as well. Especially seeing Varun fielding that well. So
Yeah.
happy, that now he won't be a weakling in terms of his fielding. So that helps. Um, perfect game for India actually. Not for the fans,
Absolutely.
but perfect game for India.
No, absolutely. Amar, anything you like to add before we conclude?
Yeah, I would like to, well, a couple of things. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
England have to think about what has gone wrong, and
Mm-hmm.
especially because these players are not bad players; they're really good players,
Mm-hmm.
and um, and really really good players, and really the T20 players really. I wouldn't say. I mean, Ben Duckett is now all format game, and we have seen Harry Brook also scoring everywhere in. So I mean, these guys, they are good players, but I think there's something with in this series that they did not do well.
Mm-hmm.
We have talked about change up bowling, but whenever they have gone away from that one dimensional bowling attack, they have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
So and that has worked. So they have to think about that. Of course, this
Mm-hmm.
was Baz McCullum's first T20 as a coach, but I mean he's played, and he's seen T20s around the world. I mean, and also in India, so he has to think. Think about those change up bowlers, those
Mm-hmm.
spinners, mystery spinners. He has to find them and get into the team if they have to do something in 2026 World Cup, or if they want to have good results. So one thing is that,
Mm-hmm.
and also they have to talk about not just the bowling but the batting as well, because the batting, most of the time the batting has failed, even though you have like Phil Salts, Joss Butlers, Harry Brooks, Liam Livingston, who is called the beast, but whenever he comes to India it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
they have to think about that as well. They can't rely on Rashid all the time, because as in Punk's word, he's a good bowler but not a great bowler. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to have more options. I mean, this series would have been a good opportunity to at least give one game to
Rehan.
Rehan Ahmed and see how he goes. But
Yeah.
they didn't try him. I mean, they could have seen, because I don't know when he will be playing next before the T20 World Cup
Yeah.
in these conditions. So that was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a couple of positives as well. There were
Mm-hmm.
Bryden Cars we have seen
Yeah.
bowl really change up delivery, very very good change up deliveries. He's a good
Mm-hmm.
batsman as well. So
Yeah.
he's the guy who they can play long term, and they can develop into a permanent member of the team. Even
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Overton, he performed well as well in a couple of games, and so there are positives as well. But one thing that they have to look at is their approach, their game plan, and definitely you bring more change up bowlers in these conditions.
Absolutely. I
And
think
just,
you
just
made.
just want to
Mhm.
add something as well, right, to Amar's
Sure.
point as well, in terms of what you talked about spin. Like one quick stats on Harry Brook, like He's played 5 innings. He's got out 5 times, all to leg spin, spinners. And he's faced 29 balls, he scored 35 runs. So just to add, and he's supposed to be the star player, in this entire team. And just to add to Amar's point, they need to know how to play spin in India, especially with mystery spin and so, and that more or less the stat is round about the same for all the players. So just to add to Amar's point as well.
Absolutely. Hopefully, spending some time. Some of them already play IPL, and they'll probably play more IPLs in the next 2 years before the World Cup. So hopefully, that help them. But yeah, Amar, you made a good point, right? England needs to find a way. Obviously, they have some stars that are batting up the order, but post Livingston, I think because obviously no more Bairstow, they missed that experience, and then Sam Curran is another player. Obviously, he misses out. Maybe once he's back in the squad, that might bring some balance. But yeah, good to see someone like Jamie Smith. But in Cars, Jacob Bethel, all these new boys, getting an opportunity to play in Indian conditions. So hopefully, they can learn from this and sort of build on it going forward. But yeah, that's the T20. India obviously finished with 4-1. So obviously now our focus will now shift to the three ODIs are coming up with the first one on Thursday. Different squad, obviously. The likes of Rohit, Kohli will be back in the squad. Or probably we have Rahul and Pant jump in the mix as well. So there's a lot of changes. But yeah, as we get closer to time, we'll probably review the ODI squad and obviously how those games unfold for the Champions Trophy, which is obviously the big tournament coming up. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you for your time today and for all of viewers. Like we always say, just our opinions. If you like it, and obviously, like our videos, then subscribe to the channel, and obviously, we'll come up with more and more insights into our thoughts around what's going on, and we'll try and get some more and more punk specials as well along the way.
Yeah, I should have got a concussion sub as well, for that 1 week.
Absolutely, that's a good point. Yeah, we should have done that.
But remember, like
to play switch.
Very hard to find.
That's what I'm trying to tell. That ends my point.
Cool.
Cool.
Right. Cheers, guys. Have a good night. Bye.
See you.